Now, conduct issues are somewhat of a sleeper issue for employers in this context of the pandemic right now. A lot of employers are so focused on their health and safety obligations, their accommodation obligations, leaving aside all the significant financial impacts that employers are facing because of COVID-19. They haven't really had the opportunity to turn their minds to how conduct issues might arise. Now, the heightened stress and anxiety that so many Canadians are dealing with right now started to lead to conduct issues, both between employees and from members of the public or customers toward employees. And this is only going to continue to increase as more employers return to their regular workplaces. Now, early in the pandemic, we saw an example of the type of conduct which, in the context of a workplace, would be a major conduct issue for the employer to manage. And that was when Donald Trump began calling COVID-19 the Chinese virus. That would be a huge issue for employers to deal with in the workplace, and surely is one that many employers are dealing with similar issues right now. Now, within workplaces, issues can arise in many different circumstances. Some examples might include where employees raise issues with their coworkers, or what some people might consider to be nitpicking with their coworkers about their hygiene practices. It might include complaints that others aren't covering their mouths when coughing, not washing their hands enough, touching things when they shouldn't be, and more. And there are also maybe complaints about masks and other PPE, with people complaining that others are not using them properly, not using them at all, with employees arguing that they should have them when the employer is deemed it's not necessary in the circumstances, whatever the case may be. Now, another major trigger will be employees being concerned that others have COVID-19 and are spreading it within the workplace. I'm sure many of you, like me, have had to cough or sneeze while you're out grocery shopping or walking your dog these past few months, and felt those stares and looks of shock and horror that you get from everyone looking at you when you do that. And so this is something that's going to come up in the workplace as well. We've already started seeing it, in fact. One of our clients has a small workplace that's continued operating in their office throughout this whole pandemic, and one of the employees has had a mild cough for months. Another employee who has a condition that puts them at greater risk if they contract the virus expressed some concern that that employee was coughing because they were concerned that that person coughing might have the virus and might spread it to them. And the employee who had the cough then became upset, yelled at the other employee. And what does this leave the employer with? A potential harassment incident that they have to investigate. And again, this is just one example of so many employers will be seeing over the next few months. Now, employers that keep on working from home and intend to do that for many more months or even indefinitely into the future aren't going to be able to entirely avoid these types of concerns either. For example, with employees at home sometimes not working the same hours they normally do because of other demands like children and pets and what have you at home, other employees who rely on their coworkers to be able to get their own work done may become upset when they can't reach their coworkers, and that may create some conduct issues of their own. And again, conduct issues directed from the public or from customers or from clients toward employees who are working will be a major concern for employers going forward. The most common examples are of retail customers becoming upset about mask requirements, changed store hours, physical distancing requirements, but there are many others employers are going to be seeing. One that we've seen from one of our clients is a client that has a business that involves delivering government funds from one of these many federal measures that was implemented in response to COVID-19 to its customers essentially on the federal government's behalf. And the employer saw, after it started doing that, a massive uptick of angry, rude customers yelling at its employees when the employees would explain to customers that they weren't eligible based on the federal government's criteria. Again, this is just one of many examples employers should be mindful of as they go forward.